So you're frustrated with your A1c and it's been stuck above 7 or 8 or higher for years. Here are 3 things you've got to change in order to improve your A1c and reach your goals. The first thing is your mindset about your A1c. And I know that sounds a little soft and corny, but please bear with me. If your A1c has been stuck above 7 or 8% for years and years, you have probably started to believe that you'll never get it down. It's really important to get it in your head that it's possible to improve and lower your A1c. It affects everything that you're doing in your diabetes management if you've gotten to the point where you believe it's never going to change. The other day I saw a post from a woman with type 1 diabetes who said her A1c was below 6% for the first time in her life, and she had spent years before that with an A1c over 8. Her story is really important, and we don't even need to know any of the details. The biggest thing that we need to know from her story is the fact that diabetes is a work in progress. There's so much to learn about managing any type of diabetes, especially if you take insulin. Insulin is complicated, and learning how to fine-tune and adjust and dose insulin takes years. If your mindset allows for that work in progress to happen, you can gradually and very suddenly improve how you manage your diabetes. And that will lead to very sudden or gradual changes in your A1c. So seriously, ask yourself, do you currently believe that your A1c is stuck where it is and it's never going to get better? Or do you believe that you are a work in progress and your diabetes management is a work in progress? The second big thing you've got to change in order to improve your A1c is your current kind of programming, your current belief on what is a high blood sugar versus a normal blood sugar. If you are currently telling yourself that it's okay to spend the day with a blood sugar around 160 for hours and hours, then your A1c is gonna be over 7%. It just is. That's too high of a blood sugar level to get an A1c under 7. An A1c of 7% translates to an average blood sugar of 158 milligrams per deciliter. If you want an A1c under 7, your blood sugar needs to spend more time hanging out around 130. But if you've spent years treating a blood sugar of 160 like that's a normal place to be, that could be a really hard mental shift to make. It also means you're gonna probably have to change the way you take insulin and how much insulin you take. You might need just a little boost in your background insulin dose or your basal rates on your pump. You might need a little more insulin for your meals. You might need to look at fear of hypoglycemia that's preventing you from taking enough insulin to get your blood sugar down closer to the range that you actually want to be in. All of these things are about self-study, sitting down and studying where my blood sugars are for most of the day and where do I actually want them to be and what do I need to do to get them down there. And hey, by the way, if you're not currently exercising every day, like even walking 30 minutes a day, that could be one really powerful way to get your blood sugars to come down a smidge or more. All right, the third thing you've got to change in order to improve your A1c is how you dose insulin for meals. And if you don't even take insulin yet as a person with type 2 and your blood sugar is spiking constantly after eating, that's a big red flag that you might need help from a medication like insulin. Talk to your healthcare team. But for people who are already on insulin, this is a really big deal and it has a huge impact on your A1c. If your blood sugar is spiking after every meal, that means you're high after every meal for at least probably a couple hours. So I recently witnessed a mother and her 8-year-old child sit down to eat a meal, and the child was eating buttered pasta with Parmesan, like many 8-year-olds do, my own included. The first big problem with this is that you're already teaching the child to feel guilt and shame around food, and let's not do that. Type 1 diabetes comes with so much guilt and shame around food. We don't need to add to it. with statements like that coming from mom or dad. The second thing, though, is that it's not true. You don't have to endure high blood sugars for hours and hours just because you chose to eat pasta. This is a learning opportunity. What that family should really be doing is saying, okay, our child loves to eat pasta. Let's figure out how to dose insulin for pasta so that we can keep her blood sugar in range after she enjoys one of her favorite meals. My point to you is if you are regularly spiking after you eat, it's an opportunity to study your insulin doses, the timing of your insulin, how much you're taking, potentially splitting your dose for meals that digest really slowly because they're high in fat. Is it possible to get your blood sugars under 180 after you eat a meal? Yes, even a meal of pasta, but it means you have to change how you're dosing insulin. You've got to make changes if you want different results. So sit down and look at the data in front of you. Look what's happening and do something different next time when you dose insulin for that meal. It's a learning opportunity. Remember, improving your A1c can take time, but you're approaching this like a big project. Approach it like it's a work in progress. You don't have to be perfect at dosing insulin for meals by next week. You've just got to keep trying. And don't give up. Thanks for watching.